Crypto Go. Now, welcome on into another episode. The only thing I ask for you guys to do before we start this episode is to get me to 10,000 subs. Hit that like button, hit that bell notification, subscribe to the channel, and share this video. Today, we're going to talk about, I'm a little bit out of breath. I just finished working out. Today, we're going to talk about Roger Ver and the freedom of transactions. Right? Because yes, we're in the blockchain world, the cryptocurrency world, right? The crypto technology world. This is a tech, right? Some of its aspects are being silenced. So we're going to dive deep into it. And I want you guys to watch this show with me. It's about 28 minutes. This is from Alex Jones, Robert Ver. And we're going to dive into it. And then we're going to talk about Bitcoin Cash. We're going to do some analysis on Bitcoin Cash because I just bought me some more Bitcoin Cash. Like I said, I was going to do in the last video. And I'm also going to talk about the market going down a little bit because of the aluminum turf that we're having this week and the steel turfs. So the market might dip a little bit. Perfect time to actually buy more. We're in February. Let's go.
My name is Roger Ver, and I'm 45 years old. I was born in America, but several years ago, I made the difficult decision to renounce my citizenship. For more than 2 decades, I've been relentlessly targeted by the US government. Now I'm facing the possibility of spending the rest of my life in prison, up to 109 years, for crimes I did not commit. This is my story.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange faced up to 175 years in prison.
John McAfee had just been ordered extradited to the United States on tax evasion charges.
Donald J. Trump arrested, fingerprinted, and charged with 34 felony counts.
This case really is lawfare at its worst.
We are clearly in a political lawfare environment.
The US government don't really like it when someone stands up to them in any way, shape, or form.
Lawfare isn't new. Lawfare has been happening for decades. At the time that the war against Roger began 25.
Now, I understand that I'm going to do another video on McAfee as well, right? Because he created the Monero XMR, right? A privacy coin and how privacy is actually important in the blockchain space, right? And it goes to show no matter where you at in the world, you always have some form of pushback. Now, he's also known that Robert Ver is also known as Bitcoin Jesus, right? He actually owns the domain bitcoin.com. He had millions of dollars invested in Bitcoin when Bitcoin wasn't what it was today. So I'm sure he has so much money and so much control over the fact that he knew the future of Bitcoin. And he also knew the problems of Bitcoin as well. So he decided to invest into Bitcoin Cash, which is a forking mechanism, right? It makes it daily instead of it being a stored value, it made it in a way that is for daily usage. So that's why I like Bitcoin Cash as well, right? So let's continue. Also, hit the I'm gonna pin it to the top of the chat. Protect your assets and get your ledger so you don't have to have it on these brokerage accounts, so you can actually own them on your own accounts as well, right? Now, people are calling for some type of a quantum attack, right? But they have ledgers that's protected by quantum attacks as well. And they also have technologies like HBAR and XDC that actually protects against those form of attacks embedded inside of the tech. That's why it's good to invest in these things, not financial advice.
5 years ago, he was one of the only ones, and very few Americans were aware this was happening. But now, lawfare has reached to the highest levels. My name is Tracy Thurman. It's a little hard to describe what I do. I come in on cases where people are facing lawfare, and I do everything I can to help them.
That's a good proposition.
I only take cases I believe in, and I only take cases that I care about. Roger's case is one of those.
You grew up in Silicon Valley. What was that like? And what was your family like?
And I'll wish whoever does the editing good luck with that, chopping all this together as well.
Pieces at a time.
So I grew up in Silicon Valley, and as a teenager, I ran one of the most popular BBSs, that stands for Bulletin Board System, which was kind of the internet before the internet. And so I ran that out of my bedroom. And one summer, I think maybe between 7th and 8th grade, my mother told me I wasn't allowed to play any more video games, and I had to go do something else. And so I went and looked on the bookshelf, and I saw a book called Socialism by a man named Ludwig von Mises. It basically explains how incredibly important money is, and the prices that they transmit aren't just prices of goods. It's information as to what goods should be used to produce what other goods, and what labor and what human resources should be used to produce other things. And without the free flow of money, the signals or the communications get distorted. And anytime the government gets involved in the flow of money, it's blocking these price signals. And the more economics I studied, the more I realized that anytime government is intervening in the economy, they're retarding the world's rate of economic growth.
Welcome to the Libertarian Party's 2000 presidential debate.
I wanted to tell people about these ideas. And so one of the ways that I thought would be efficient to tell more people around the world about the benefits of free markets and entrepreneurship and getting the government out of the way of the economy was to run for political office as a libertarian in the United States.
Each candidate is going to be given 5 minutes.
I got to have numerous debates and meet lots of interesting people. But it was in one debate in particular at San Jose State University, where I was debating the Republican and Democratic candidates. And unbeknownst to me at the time, in the audience were some ATF agents. And I called the ATF and FBI a bunch of jackbooted thugs and murderers in reference to murdering children in Waco, Texas.
911, what's your emergency?
They're shooting at us in Mount Carmel. Tell them they're children and women.
And perhaps that's where he went wrong at, because he decided to run for a political, to be a political member, to be a part of the council. So I see that's probably where he went wrong at. But at the same time, is he wrong? I don't think so at all, because you have the right to, if you want to run for office, run for office. If you have the means, if you have the width to do it, do it. But a person like this, to me, is dangerous in that space. Same thing as Donald Trump, because he's more of an entrepreneur in the space, and you really can't control these kind of people. And ultimately, they want total control. That's why the freedom of transaction is so important, so you will have control. That's why this battle between what Bitcoin was originally meant to be and now BlackRock is buying into it and all these things, they're going to control these things using fiat to then control the rate and the pump and dumping it and stuff like that. So I think that he's making sense on this part, but let's continue to watch the show. I'll try not to intervene as much, but this is an interesting topic, and I think we all need to see this, because you can own Bitcoin, you can own all these different technologies, right? But if it isn't such thing as privacy and or a freedom of transaction, then what's the point? We're back to the fiat currency mechanism. At the end of the day, what was the point of this brilliant innovation?
Here to call it off.
There were dozens of young children there. They literally sent in tanks and men with guns, and they set the entire place on fire. And then they posed for photos on top of the bodies of dead kids.
Crazy.
Including 24 children were killed.
You don't murder kids. And when Bitcoin came along, it was clear to me that that was the kryptonite to government's ability to wage wars and to control people and to interfere in the economy. And there was nothing that was going to stop me from telling people about how important this was.
For Roger, that was the beginning of asking very serious questions about the US government. And honestly, it was the beginning of the persecution against him.
Before crypto, I'd been involved in e-commerce, and I was selling mainly computer memory on the internet. And I was also selling a product called a Pest Control Report 2000, which was basically a firecracker that farmers would use to scare birds away out of the cornfield. And I was selling these on eBay, back when eBay had a guns and ammo section, and there were dozens, if not hundreds of other people selling that exact same product on eBay. I wound up being the only person ever in the entire history of the world to be charged criminally for selling those without a license.
Can you imagine the U.S. government spend money and time to imprison Roger Ver?
He was targeted
over firecrackers.
In a meeting between Roger, his attorney, the ATF agent, and the prosecutor, Roger's attorney was asking the prosecutor, look, wouldn't this be a case normally where you would just tell the guy to go to get a license? Maybe you'd fine him, but you wouldn't be seeking prison time. And at that point, the ATF agent pounds his fist on the table and says, but you didn't hear what he said about us. That clears up completely whether this was a politically motivated case or not.
I literally became politically persecuted for saying things that I believe in my heart of hearts to be true. If you murder kids, you're a murderer. And so anyhow, I did my 10 months in federal prison. And so I wound up, waiting the 3 years of federal probation that I had. And literally on the very day I was allowed to leave, I left the United States, and I haven't lived there again since because they made me terrified to live there. I was born there. All my family's there. That's where I grew up. That's the place I love and will be near and dear to my heart forever. But these people just made it so frightening for me to be there because of the constant harassment over and over and over.
All of our founding fathers gave up their citizenships because the country from which they came was no longer a place that they could call home. And when they did it, it was treason. Every single one of them knew if they were captured, that was the end, and the end would not be a pretty one. And yet they stood firm, they made that decision, and they acted out of bravery and principle. And Roger's a person who's done that too.
Anytime people exposed information that their government wanted to be kept secret, those people were called traitors, and yet history views them as patriots and heroes.
When they sent me to prison the first time, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say, but it worked in the sense that they got me to shut up and to be quiet.
You can't put it in your wallet. Your computer makes it, and it trades like a stock. It's called Bitcoin.
In 2011, when I heard about Bitcoin for the first time, I knew it was one of the most important inventions in the entire history of the world. And I went on to become the very first person in the world to start investing in the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin ecosystem and seeded basically the entire first generation of cryptocoin and Bitcoin businesses.
Get involved right now today. Tell everybody you know about this wonderful, amazing thing that's about to change the lives of everybody on the entire planet called Bitcoin.
He was the first American entrepreneur, maybe in the world, to really see the potential of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
I knew it when I began promoting Bitcoin that this is something so powerful to the existing power structures that they'll do whatever they can to stop it or shut it down.
A brilliant innovator and a great humanitarian who cares about one thing more than anything else, and that is the topic of human freedom.
I couldn't be quiet any longer. I had to speak out, and that's what I did, and it was the right thing to do, and I don't regret it one bit.
A digital currency in which transactions can be performed without the need for a central bank. Woody, what is a Bitcoin?
Bitches in the future?
This is Wheel of Fortune, Joe!
Bitcoin is the future.
This is the first time in the entire history of the world in which anybody on the planet with the internet can send or receive money with anyone else anywhere, and there's absolutely no way that anybody can interfere with that in any way. I would tell anybody that I would get to listen to me about Bitcoin, but the vast majority of people just kind of laughed at me or didn't take it seriously or just, kind of thought I was crazy for being so interested in some, internet nerd money that nobody was using. But, as each year went by, it gained more and more traction. It got more and more attention from around the world. And today it's, the talk of, people all over the planet.
This is historic for the crypto
The
space.
Bitcoin rocket ship keeps climbing.
Bitcoin trounced 100,000. It might go to 150K.
You actually know this guy, Roger, is it Ver?
Roger Ver.
He's earned the nickname Bitcoin Jesus.
Who is known as Bitcoin Jesus.
Bitcoin Jesus himself.
Because he is proselytized. He's been very supportive of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin Jesus.
Or Roger Ver.
Yeah, I would prefer that was not my nicknames. Eventually he was murdered by the government of his day. I would prefer not to meet the same fate.
Leave it to the Biden administration to try to figure out a way to crucify Bitcoin Jesus.
Cryptocurrencies in general are absolutely an opportunity for the entire world to have more personal and economic freedom and to shrink the control of violent third parties from interfering in people's lives all over the planet. Because when you're using Bitcoin as money, at this point, cryptocurrency, not just Bitcoin, it helps defund wars and helps defund government interference in the economy and helps grow the private sector and helps shrink the government sector. The private sector doesn't necessarily need anything from the government. And so the more things we can privatize around the world, the better off everybody will be in the entire world.
Digital currency may be the most effective way the world has ever seen to increase economic freedom. It doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter where you were born, and it doesn't matter where you live today. You now can interact financially with every other human being on the planet without needing permission from anybody. And it almost makes me want to cry. It's so exciting for the world to see that become available.
Bitcoin Jesus is under arrest in Spain on U.S. tax and mail fraud charges. Roger Ver is accused of evading nearly $50 million in taxes after earning $240 million trading cryptocurrency.
If you want to build a system that allows for freedom, the most important element you can have besides freedom of speech is freedom of transaction.
And so imagine a world in which every single financial transaction you make is tracked and recorded. And not only that, but if they don't like what you're spending your money on, or if they don't like the things that you're saying politically, they can prevent you from spending your money. That's a scary, scary world to live in.
For many people, the first time they ever heard of debanking, of freezing of assets for politically wrong speech, was the Canadian trucker protests.
As of today, a bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze an account without a court order.
If you are involved in this protest, we will actively look to identify you and follow up with financial sanctions and criminal charges.
Banks have already started to freeze the accounts of people involved in the protests.
If your money can be turned off, you are not a free man.
So as we're recording this, we are in a little island off the coast of mainland Spain called Majorca. And I'm here because the United States government had me arrested earlier this year while I was visiting Spain for what I thought was going to be a 4-day business trip.
He is not permitted to leave the island. He cannot get on a boat. He cannot get on a plane. He cannot do anything other than sit here on this island waiting for the Spanish government to send him to U.S. custody.
They're charging me with tax evasion and mail fraud. But the mail fraud is simply that the tax returns were sent in the mail. There's actually 3 charges of mail fraud because we sent the first tax return. The IRS claimed they didn't get it, so we sent it again. So they're charging 2 separate counts of mail fraud for sending the same tax return 2 times in the mail because they claimed they didn't get it the first time. And then they're charging me with a 3rd count of mail fraud for sending another year's tax return a couple of years later. 90 of those 109 years are for simply putting the tax returns in the mail and sending them to them. So there's no fraud about that at all. So as I was pulling up to my house this morning after running some errands, the Spanish SWAT team had the street basically blocked off, and it really spooked me. But either they weren't looking for me or somehow I got away. But we're going to drive by again and see if they're still there. Well, they're gone now. They were all right here. Thankfully, they don't seem to have been there for me. So another day with a bit more freedom, although we'll have to go to the courthouse here shortly for my once every 2-day check-in to make sure that to prove to them that I didn't run away.
Hey.
One day there will be a knock at his door. And at that moment, he will be experiencing potentially the last moments of freedom he will have for the rest of his life. That's a terrible burden to live under. And at every moment, you don't know, is this my last moment of freedom?
I think the way I look at it is that the worst that can happen is they kill me. Then it's no longer my problem, right? So, of course, I'll put this on the record. I am in no way, shape, or form suicidal in any way, and I would never, ever do anything like suicide by cop or anything like that ever. So if I wind up dead by any sort of mysterious circumstances, 1,000% sure I did not take my own life in any way, shape, or form. I would absolutely never do that, ever.
John McAfee found dead today in a prison cell in Spain. The founder of the antivirus software that bears his name had just been ordered extradited to the United States on tax evasion charges.
After failing to report income made from promoting cryptocurrencies.
And the widow of technology entrepreneur John McAfee says she does not accept claims that her late husband died by suicide.
Janice McAfee said in a Twitter post on Sunday, quote, "The U.S. authorities are determined to have John die in prison to make an example of him for speaking out against the corruption within their government agencies."
Claiming the U.S. government wanted to silence him over challenges to the dollar as the world's reserve currency.
In April of 2024, Roger came to Spain for what he thought would be 4 days for a conference. Instead, he's been here ever since. He was arrested and thrown into the same prison where John McAfee died. He was in that prison for 3.5 weeks until he was granted bail against the wishes of the United States. And then when he was granted bail, he was sent to the island of Majorca. Every 2 days, he has to go to the court and check in to prove that he is still here. He's waiting to know, will he be back in the U.S. as a free man? Or will he be back in the U.S. in shackles?
At the time I renounced my U.S. citizenship and expatriated, there were absolutely no rules or guidance whatsoever from the IRS as to how to pay taxes on Bitcoin. But I told my professionals and my attorneys and tax accountants that I knew I was a target for government persecution and that we had to make sure everything was done perfect.
He says to his attorneys, I know the IRS is likely to audit me. I need this to be done perfectly. I need every T crossed. I need every I dotted.
I had my accountants, I had the tax attorneys, and then I hired additional former federal prosecutors to check all the work down. So I had like 3 separate layers of people checking people's work all the way down to make sure everything was perfect in regards to that.
The irony of Roger's case is that the government paints him as a person who's evading his taxes. But the evidence, when you read the actual filings, when you read the actual emails between him and his attorneys, shows a man who is doing his absolute best to comply at every turn.
This isn't about taxes. This isn't about money. This is about trying to suppress people from spreading American ideals to the world through the use of cryptocurrency.
Roger Ver is a world-famous crypto pioneer. He is being charged by the United States on extremely dubious grounds, somewhat similar to the way John McAfee, also in Spain, a crypto pioneer, was arrested at the request of American law enforcement.
So they're using the tax system as a form of lawfare. As an example to the rest of the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world, don't you dare innovate. Again, his name is Roger Ver. Start a petition on his behalf. You can sign it. That'll help. FreeRogerNow.org.
I haven't been able to see my mom and dad for coming up on a decade because of this. And every day I wonder if I'm ever going to get to see them again before the day they die or before the day I die. One of the things that I want most in life is to spend time with I haven't seen my parents for a long, long time.
The framers of our country were wise men. Men who understood that throughout human history, power tends to corrupt, and it tends to corrupt absolutely. And that with each generation, there would have to be people who are willing to risk all to protect freedom and risk.
Now, I didn't want to interrupt. We have about 10 minutes of this video. And the reason why I'm showing this is because, right, in this space, you want to have at least freedom of transaction. You want to be able to control your own assets. You don't want to live in the same fiat system that's actually bringing the world down. Think about it like this. The world has been built on systems, right? That's why in America, I like the fact that Elon is checking the budget, the Department of Government Efficiencies. He's checking the numbers because everything is built on a system. If the United States is considered a corporation and a company, right, then systems are what's running the corporation. So you can literally solve the problem by going directly into the root of the problem, which is the systems, right? These systems, to me, are meant to control. The reason why they created cryptocurrency is so you can control it yourself. That's the ultimate reason. Now, is this my style of doing my YouTube channel? No, generally not. But this is an important sector of the channel, so we have to watch it. We have to see, hey, look at what happened to McAfee. Look at what's going on with Roger Ver. Who's next? And if we don't talk about it and speak about it, then what's the point? Right? What's the point? So continue to watch. I won't interrupt anymore. I'm gonna let it run for the next 10 minutes.
Everything in order to express that view once more. Roger was one of those people, and he's paid the price for doing so.
Once they take me out of the way, it's even easier for them to go after everybody else out there, because if they can do this to me with the resources and the people that I have supporting me, they can do it to absolutely anybody.
The lawfare in this country is only going to end if we decide that we are all going to stand up for our fellow Americans whether we agree with them politically or not. We can choose right now as Americans, which direction do we go? Do we head toward tyranny? Do we head toward a new American century of freedom, of hope, of finding a national unity again? And in order to do that, the lawfare must stop. And our heroes have to come home.
I don't know who said it, but in history they said, first they came for the so-and-so and nobody spoke out, and then they came for the next group and nobody spoke out. And by the time they came for me, there was nobody left to speak out. And that's why it's so important for all of us to speak out all of the time, so that they can't take us down one at a time.
Indeed.
It was Ronald Reagan who said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction." We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. My name is Roger Ver. This is my story. I hope to God it never becomes yours.
Cryptocurrency is literally one of the best tools we've ever had to have more economic freedom for everybody. And that's literally what America was founded on. And so I want to caution, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, like, they've tried killing you guys a couple of times. They're going to keep trying. We have to dismantle the deep state as quickly as we possibly can. And they're going to try and, silence all of us, whether it's through death or other, lawfare. We need to move as quickly as we can to dismantle the deep state. But this whole thing needs to come to an end. And I could very well be in handcuffs, in jail, or on an airplane on the way back to the U.S. Later tonight, tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly where they're going to grab me. But if all of your listeners can stand up and say, hey, President Trump in the lawfare against Roger Ver, the new Department of Justice in the lawfare against Roger Ver, I haven't been convicted yet. Just drop the charges. Anybody can look at it and see that it's 100% fake. This stems from 2014, when the global volume for all the Bitcoins in the entire world traded were less than $10 million a day, right? The Bitcoin wasn't anywhere near where it is today. So the whole thing is just absolute nonsense. And it's lawfare trying to be used against people like myself and you and anybody that's spreading these ideas of free markets and American freedom. They want to shut us up. So don't let it happen. This is our chance. And so I'm asking all of your listeners, please go and support me. Write your congressman, write your senator, tweet at President Trump, tweet at Elon Musk. Hey, America's about liberty and justice for all. I'm certainly, born in America, and I'm part of that all. And just because, I'm not living in America recently, it's not because I wanted to live outside of America. It's because they drove me away. They made me terrified to be in the land that I was born. So here's our chance to fix all these different things for all of these different people. And I need everybody's help, because otherwise I'll be condemned to die in prison if I'm found guilty of these fake charges. And so and we know that they love to try and railroad things through in the courts. And, just like with your own situation, firsthand what a rigged situation where they're not even selling the business to the highest bidder, and the whole lawfare stuff before that was a joke too. So we need all of the fans of, Alex Jones and the InfoWars, we need everybody to speak up, because this is our chance. President Trump got into office. He's the one who has the power to fix this. And, him plus Elon Musk plus all these other people speaking out, this is our chance to really make America great again. And nothing would make me happier than to be a part of it. But I need everybody's help to be a part of it. And all of us need to help everybody else do it. And what a great platform InfoWars is to get the word out about all of that. So I just want to say thank all these different people that are involved in that. And let's help each other make America great again. And please, let's do it. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you so much, Elon Musk, for giving us free speech again on X. This is the start of another American Renaissance, and I want to be a part of it, but I can't do it if I'm in jail. So I need everybody's help to end the lawfare against me. Please head on over to freerogernow.org to read all about it. And President Trump, if you're listening, please save me from the deep state that's been going after you with their fake lawfare, and after so many other patriots like Alex Jones and Elon Musk as well. So I need everybody's help, and I'll be out there to add my voice to the millions of you out there spreading the word to make America great again.
We are unified by our spirit that God made.
Okay, so I left the sourcing of that. I wanted you guys to see that, because that video right there touched my heart, and I wanted to make sure that I'm spreading the word. I'm spreading the word and I'm on the right side of history, right? We have to do things together. Black, Latino, white, it doesn't even matter, right? I believe in positivity. So if we're spreading positivity, that's actually perfect. I don't believe he deserved to be in that situation, but unfortunately he is. And the only way for him to get out of the situation is with us, right? So I'll spread the word to my audience. No, I don't have a big following, but eventually I will. But I'll just do the work in the meantime. I don't even look at the results right now. Right now, I just want to do the work, prove myself to you guys, and build a community amongst that. So now, let's go into Bitcoin Cash, because he's a big advocate for Bitcoin Cash. And the fact that this is on Alex Jones, and Alex Jones is he have millions, 14, 15 million people come to see him every day on his live. We're talking millions. Okay, millions. This is just on one platform. This is just on X. What about everything else that he has? So that's the case. We know that now Bitcoin Cash, a lot of people didn't believe it in it at first. And if anything goes right, which I hope everything goes right with Roger Ver, and he gets pardoned or anything along that nature, right? I just want justice to be served. And I believe in my heart that he's innocent. What did he evade? Nothing at all. They just don't like the fact that they're calling him out, that he called the government out on the BS. No one wants to be held accountable. The same thing that they're doing to Elon and Trump for calling the government out on the BS. They don't want to be held accountable, because once you start holding these people accountable, you would know that it's a lot of racketeering, money laundering, and everything else that's going on. But this is not the channel that I talk about those type of topics. I simply talk about the freedom of crypto, blockchain technology, what tech that may be your best investment, or just for you to get some information on some things. I want to share everything that I know with you guys, right? So let's go on to Bitcoin Cash. Let me stop sharing that screen. And let's go to, this is on CoinMarketCap. I love CoinMarketCap. That's my thing, right? And let's go on to Bitcoin Cash. CoinMarketCap, we have something called Bitcoin Cash. And I have to do a video on the actual update the market to let you guys know that the market may be coming down because of the it may have a 10% correction to a 30% depending. Bitcoin might drop 5-6%, which is good to me, but the cause and effect is these new tariffs that will be in place this week as far as the aluminum and the steel, right? It just came out. It is Monday morning at 2:40 a.m. So by the time you guys wake up on the East Coast, you will hear about the news, because they just said something about it, right? So let's go to Bitcoin Cash. Let me move that a little bit so you guys can actually see the screen, and let me zoom in for you guys. Okay, you can see that bright and clear, right? Bitcoin Cash. As far as where it's ranking, number 23. So it's in the top 100. It's at $329.50 right now. I think this is an incredible price to even start buying right now. Can it dip a little bit? Yes, it can. It can dip below $300. It can. But this has a potential to go. I'm going to show you guys the potential. Let's go to the market cap. It has 6.53 billion. The volume is 230 million right now, currently up 18%. The FDV, right, is 6.91 billion. The total supply is 19.82 million. The max supply is 21. Circulating right now is 19. So most of it's already circulating. Only got 2 million damn near left. That's outside of circulation. Let's go to the data chart. In 1 month, in 1 day, it's up 0.08%. So not even a percentage. In 7 days, it is up 3%. In a month, in 1 month, it is it's down 25%. Now, I like to buy things on sale. That's good. So I got a 25% up chance. In a year, it is up only 32%. That's kind of low. That's kind of extremely low. Great investment to me starting out. Overall, it is down. Oh, it is down 40% overall. Okay. Now let's look at the charts, right? We right here right now. In 2017, it went all the way up to 4,000. We only at $350 right now. I rounded it. 330, right? And now this is just on CoinMarketCap. On Coinbase, it went all the way up to 9,000. So you telling me if you only hold 4 of these, you have the potential, let's just say each of them go up to 5,000, right? It breaks its all-time high. Let's just say each of them go up to 5,000, right? That's $20,000 of just investing $1,000. That's good. What if it goes up to 9,000? What if it breaks its all-time high and breaks all of that and go up to 15K to 20K? You see what I'm saying? So to me, this is a sneaky play. This is a play that I like, and I like it. I like it. Look who's behind it. Look who sponsors it. It's someone with real grit in the game. Now, where can you find this? Let's go to the market. You can find it on Binance. You can find it on Bybit. You can find it on Coinbase Exchange, OKX, Upbit, BitGet, Kraken, KuCoin, MEXC. You can find it on 43 other platforms as well. They had more than 43 other platforms. Just search through that. I'm gonna leave CoinMarketCap up there for you guys. Hyperliquid opens native staking for Hype token holders. Details. That's a month ago. What are the most popular crypto to fiat pairs used in? Okay. It's 90% bullish. I'm going to go with the bullish section as well. Bitcoin Cash weekly news video for February 4th, 20. Okay, that's kind of old. I already watched the video, so we're going to go on with the technicals. This is what I like about this one. Wells only owns 17.25%, while the majority is others, which is you and I, own 82%. So we can actually push this market. 98% owns 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 100,000, only 1.6%. I'm part of this club right here. And then we have a over 100K, 0.04%. What is Bitcoin Cash? Now let's talk about it. What is Bitcoin Cash? I think this is a great buy right now. Like I say, the fear and greed index right now is at a 35. So it's a lot of fear in the market. Can it go down some more? Sure it can, because like I say, the market may dip this week 5 to 6% with Bitcoin, which means that it may be at a 10 to 18% with altcoins, right? But we still in February now. Don't let them shake you out. Do not let them shake you out. I've been there before where I sold my coins, I sold my technology. I looked up, waited 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Next thing you know, it blew past everything that I sold. Now I'm buying back higher. Why? Because your thoughts are very important. I tell people also, when you're doing these things, it's best to meditate. Learn how to breathe. Learn how to breathe doing these things, because if you don't, you'll suffocate. Because the market has so many different turbulences. Go up, down, the volatility up all the way up. Now you have an X amount of dopamines released, right? Because this is a program. You have X amount of dopamines released, right? It goes all the way down. You feel sad. You want to sell. You want to do things you haven't done before. Just be patient. Sometimes don't play the game. Play your game. Be patient. Add a little bit more. I don't care if you're adding $100. I don't care if you're adding $5 to your position. Add a little bit more. Especially if this these grade A projects. Add a little bit more. XRP, XDC, which is going to be back. They're going to use that, the R3 quarter, to back gold. Like, understand what's going on in the space. They did the same thing with XRP, and now look. If you understand, I look at it like this. This is how I knew the XRP thing was a fluke, right? Let me go on a little rant real quick. I apologize. Sorry, not sorry, right? I knew the XRP thing was a fluke because it's 3 branches of government, right? Executive, judiciary, and the y'all know the all 3 branches of government, right? There's no bylaws saying that a judge know exactly what crypto is, so it's all speculation, no matter what they reign. We don't have anything called regulations yet. So how can you criminalize something that isn't even regulated yet? You don't even know what that something is. That something could have solved the United States problem. So I knew it was a fluke then. So it don't matter what everybody else said. Oh, they're not going to make it in court. Yeah, you guys got that for nothing. But I would have listened to other people, I wouldn't be in a position that I am in now. If I simply would not have, if I would have listened to anyone else with their fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and so, like I said, I see my bag go all the way down from 20,000 to 3,000. I learned so much. Never put everything in one thing. I learned how to diversify. Like I literally bought courses to learn how to do these things. That's why I want to share it with you guys. I haven't started doing my own courses because it's like with so much information, why not let people know? It's only 1 or 2% of the world that actually know about these things. Imagine when it's 5%, 6%, more and more people know. Imagine when it's 35%, when a lot of people know about these things. Imagine every day people are going to be transacting with whatever native currency they want to transaction to, as long as they have a bridge in order for that to come through. Just imagine. Those days are surely upon us. By 2030, no later than 2040, it's going to be a whole different way of how you transact. They're preparing you for it now. Why do you think you got Apple Pay and Cash App, all these things embedded in your phone? Like your phone is literally the wallet. If you have a wallet, it's like the grandkids will be looking up to you like, Papa, you still carry around wallets? You see? So they're training you regardless, you know? But let's continue. That was a little rant. Sorry, not sorry. Let's continue. Bitcoin Cash, BCH, is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system that aims to become sound global money with fast payment, micro fees, privacy, and larger, listen to it, micro fees, privacy, and larger block size. That was the problem with Bitcoin. As permissionless, decentralized cryptocurrency. The words I like is decentralized, right? Other words that I like is a larger block size, right? And the main word that I like is privacy, right? Bitcoin Cash requires no trusted third party. Y'all hear what's going on. Bitcoin Cash was created as an alternative to the first and most valuable cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. So this was the alternative because they knew Bitcoin had its problems. In 2017, BCH developers modified the BTC code, releasing their software version and a full-fledged competitive product, which split Bitcoin into 2 blockchains, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Listen, Bitcoin Cash is a result of a hard fork in the blockchain. Due to the differences in the community over Bitcoin scaling and SegWit upgrade. Moreover, another hard fork which divided Bitcoin Cash into 2 parts, Bitcoin ABC and Bitcoin SV, took place in the fall of 2018. These are some key terms, Bitcoin ABC, Bitcoin B. Now, this might be technical for most, but still, this is what made them differentiate, right? The Bitcoin ABC, the Bitcoin SV, and the fact that it's hard forked. Right? The scaling debate involved 2 sides. Small block supporters opposed increasing block size as it could lead to blockchain centralization and vulnerability by making it harder to host full nodes. Large block supporters, however, advocate for a faster solution, concerned that raising transaction fees could hinder growth. Listen to that. I think this is the same problem that Ethereum is facing right now. Concerned the rise in transaction fees that could hinder growth. That's all I'm saying. So I'm definitely down with Bitcoin Cash. Overview. Bitcoin is a groundbreaking digital payment system that lets people send money directly to each other without needing banks or middlemen. Think of it like digital cash that you can send through the internet, but with a special security feature that makes sure nobody can cheat or spend the same money twice. It's changing how we think about money by creating a system built on mathematical proof instead of trust in banks. Since its launch in 2009, Bitcoin has grown from an experimental project to a globally recognized assets class worth hundreds of millions of dollars, proving the availability of decentralized digital currency. I'm not sure if I enunciate this word right. Viability. I apologize. Viability. It happens sometimes, but I'm not perfect. Can I read? Yes, I can. Am I perfect with my reading? No. Sometimes I stun over my words and stutter and mispronounce and mispronounce. But as long as you guys get the message, that's all I really care about. I'm not really trying to be perfect on this channel. I wasn't made that way, and I'm good with my mistakes, right? The live Bitcoin Cash price today is $328.93 USD with a 24-hour trading value of that. I believe that I read that at the beginning. So I want you guys to do your homework on Bitcoin Cash, and it's a buy for me. Not financial advice. It is a buy for me. So you can dollar cost average in. It's currently at 330 as we speak. Seems to me that it's climbing as we speak. On that note, I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Thank you so much. Go sign that petition for Roger Ver. I left the link inside of the description as well, and the sourcing of the video. So go watch that video. And thanks to Alex Jones for hosting it, because Alex Jones just made his reality to me come true, because he has one of the largest platforms on earth. On that note, put on your seatbelts. It's time to take off. Crypto Dough 5, 4.